We have all seen the pictures of the devastating oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. I do understand the outrage and the anger. I think if we just blame British Petroleum for the entire disaster, it's making it a little too easy, as there are way more layers to the entire disaster. The first layer isn't even British Petroleum by themselves, it's the federal government. They kind of endorsed offshore drilling. They were perfectly aware of the dangers of offshore drilling and of the worst case scenario, yet they still endorsed it. The second layer of the problem is British Petroleum and the non-existence of their plan for a worst case scenario. Then there is another layer to that problem. It's the fact that the federal government doesn't have an actual plan for a worst case scenario. They were perfectly aware of the fact that the worst case scenario can happen, yet they still don't have a plan in action. They investigate possibilities on how to deal with the entire disaster. Basically, it's Katrina all over again. While I do appreciate the fact that Obama made it into the disaster area way earlier than George W. Bush during Katrina, the fact remains that he didn't come up with any solution. He gave a speech with a lot of empty political samplers, but that's basically it. Unlike Katrina, this disaster is way worse, as the long-term consequences on the region can't even be predicted yet. If there's any lesson to be learned, then it's that offshore drilling is a bad idea in the first place. The next lesson that could be learned from the disaster is that every offshore drilling operation needs a worst-case scenario, no matter how unlikely that scenario might be. The third lesson is a lesson that the federal government needs to learn. You can't allow someone to start an offshore drilling operation without having disaster plans in place. Only future will tell how costly that oil spill is going to be and what the long-term consequences for the region will be.